Do you feel like you have to be an expert before you can teach or share something that you care deeply about? I won't be able to answer all their questions if I'm not an expert. But if I trip over myself, I'm afraid I might look stupid because it's all about me. If you're operating from a place of fear, then you are literally robbing the world of your unique gifts that you could be blessing the world with. And all of us are guilty of it from time to time, so I'm not pointing fingers at you, just so you know. The answer to the question is no, you don't have to wait till you become an expert. In fact, if you're waiting till you're an expert to do something, to share something, to teach something that you care deeply about, then you're probably never going to achieve it. Just to let you know, you'll be in this waiting game that lasts you the rest of your life, and then your dreams die with you forever. That's most likely how it's going to play out. If you're waiting till everything is perfect and you're an expert and you can answer every possible question somebody could throw at you, and if you're not going to move forward out of a place of fear, you'll never do it unless you get over yourself. Fear is actually a very self-absorbed emotion. It doesn't mean that you're arrogant, but it certainly means that there is an ego at play that has you completely self-absorbed and not making the issue about impacting anybody else. So that's something that I want you to become aware of, like yesterday. And then we can start to get over ourselves. If it's a place of arrogance or not a place of arrogance, it doesn't matter. Ego encompasses so much more than just what people typically think of as arrogance and things like that. Being self-absorbed is to just make it all about yourself, whether it's a sad, depressed sort of emotion, or if it's because you think you're better than everybody else, it's still self-absorption. So that's the first thing. We have to just get over ourselves, become aware of it, and then get over ourselves. So yeah, the answer is no, you do not have to wait until you're an expert to start sharing and teaching and whatever it is you want to do, something that's really important to you. And I'm just going to draw out my own example, and this is only going to take a minute, so it's not going to be that long. Draw parallels to whatever it means for you. But as for myself, I had always, since as long as I can remember, I wanted to own my own life. I never wanted to work for somebody else. I always wanted to have my freedom of my time, to spend my time how I wish, rather than worried about money and stealing time out of my life and out of being able to spend time with people that I love and care about. I didn't want to steal those minutes, those hours, those days away from anybody or anything that I care deeply about to work at some job, stealing my time for a flippin' paycheck and working for and being needy for money from a job and for a paycheck so I could eat, pay my bills, and all these other things. I thought it was complete nonsense my entire life. All my life I didn't really know any other way. I just figured there's got to be a better way. So I always had my eye open, and sometimes I'd even actively search for it. So that was my thing. And also my other big thing was I wanted to create impact. I see all these things going on with the world. I believe the planet is in the process of dying. I don't believe the planet ever will die. I do believe that the planet is going to save herself by wiping us out eventually. So really, we're in the process of killing ourselves by how we interact with the planet in various multiple ways. And that's something that I care deeply about. From the environment to how people treat other people, the fact that there's human trafficking rings that exist, human slavery, child sex slave rings, the atrocities that are committed every day by factory farmers, so many things. It's just never ending. 1 billion people starving to death, mostly kids, the debt crisis within people's personal lives, and chronic obesity and chronic disease and out of control pharmaceutical industry, corruption and all levels, all of it. There's so many things happening right now that our planet is literally in the process of dying. But before she does die, she's going to kill us to save her life. I do believe that will happen if we don't change course. So this is something I've always wanted to have an impact on, but never had the time, the resources, the money, any of that stuff. It's just the way that it was because I had a job working for some company. So that just wasn't for me. So this isn't to be right or to be wrong. But so I wanted to get started in something. I didn't know how, but I eventually was invited into this home business arena. Never thought I would be in that specifically. I just didn't know. I said no for 3 months. I didn't think it was for me. I didn't know if I could do it, self-belief issues. But eventually I said yes after I saw what this person was creating during the 3 months, the person that invited me. She had started getting paid really nice money, started gaining her freedom of time, solved some of her crippling health challenges. So I'm like, okay, I'm pretty well out of shape physically, financially certainly out of shape because I had no job and no income. I had lost my job. sold to India for cheap wages, no fault of my own. I was just one of those statistics. So there goes my income along with everything that I had. And my health, piss poor shape. 30 years old, winded going up a flight of steps. It wasn't good. That was just flat pathetic and embarrassing if you ask me. So physically and financially, just in piss poor shape. I mean, it was really bad. 3 months of saying no after I was invited to change all that, I finally said yes. I got in. No idea what I was going to do. I wanted to invite people to come with me. I wanted to be able to teach things and share things. No idea what I was doing. None whatsoever. No success in that arena ever in my life. But you know what? I got in. I figured it out. I learned from other people that had been in it, done it, did it, you know, people who knew more than me, who had what I wanted, so to speak. Took on those mentors and modeled myself after what they were doing. And I figured it out. And my invitation for people was, let's do this together. I have no idea what I'm doing, but let's do it together. And what I found is that the more that I would teach, the more I would learn. The more that I would share, the more I would learn. The more that I would share, the more that I would impact. So now I began impacting people, not just improving my own situation, but simultaneously and as a direct reflection of helping other people achieve what they wanted and what was really important to them too. So it was a process, and a really cool one. Fast forward just a couple years after that, I went from being almost homeless and no income at all and almost homeless to buying a house in cash and calling the job search off forever, or as I like to say, fire my boss, even though I didn't really have a boss. I never found work again. But I just got out of that bracket, that job bracket, and looking for another job. So I have this website now called fireyourboss.xyz. Check it out, not .com, fireyourboss.xyz. Check it out. It's a pretty neat website, and that particular page you're going to go to is going to ask you a lot of questions to get you to develop something in your brain, what's important to you and why it's important, and constructing a really powerful vision. It's worthwhile looking into. So I'd go there. I think you'll dig it. Even if you have no interest in what my goals are, you've got goals that you're very interested in. This could actually help you develop the vision that you need to do whatever it takes to make it happen. And that was really behind all of this for me, was my vision of what I wanted to do and accomplish and why and how it was going to feel and things like that. So you don't have to be an expert to start teaching, to start sharing, to start getting involved in whatever it is that's really, truly, deeply important to you. And nowadays, so far to date, I've housed 9 families, lower income to middle income families, without taking food from their table. They can afford these clean, new places that are totally kick-ass places. They've been completely renovated. They're like brand spanking new. Really affordable for people having a tough time and without creating more stress in their lives about how they're going to pay bills and going further into debt and things like that. So that's awesome. And I'm feeding kids who are starving to death. And I'm donating money to the Gerson Foundation. The Gerson Institute, they're an institute. The Gerson Institute helps heal people from cancer and a bunch of other diseases without any medical treatment, just nature. And they have an excellent track record of doing that, which is why they get my money. And the King's Ransom Foundation is another place I donate to. They help feed starving kids and a bunch of other worthwhile causes. They get involved in hopefully annihilating the human trafficking problem and children's sex slave rings. Whoops, there goes my phone. Not editing that. These videos are raw. So I'm having a much bigger impact now, much bigger than I could have before. And I don't have to have a job anymore, so I don't. And my freedom, I got my freedom of time. My time is no longer tied to money. That's a beautiful thing. That's the biggest thing. Because now I'm free. I got the resources, the time, the energy, all these things to create as much impact as I want and as much freedom and as much healing and all those other things. Going into it, not a clue what I was doing. Nothing. To get people to go with me, I would basically say, hey, let's do this together. If you want to do it with me, great, let's go. If not, no big deal, but maybe you might know somebody who'd be interested in these kinds of causes and these kinds of missions who'd like to talk to me. And that was really it. And some people decided to come with me. Some people decided not to. It was all very cool. And it worked out. I didn't need to be an expert, and neither do you. So don't get caught up in this nonsense that you need to be an expert, you need to have answers to everybody's questions and all these other things, because it's not true. That line of thinking and being fearful and all these other things will keep you back. And the more that you're kept back, the more that your impact on the planet is kept back. And the planet needs it, man. It really does. We are literally in a process of killing ourselves by killing our planet, which will save her own life by killing us. We got to reverse that, man. And the way we treat other people with all these other things going on, that shit's got to stop. So don't hold back. Don't wait till you're an expert. Get started now. And visit my website, fireyourboss.xyz. Maybe that'll help pull something out of you that gets you going. That'd be a cool thing. Bye for now, everyone. Next video coming soon, so stay tuned.